Thanks for coming, everyone. Sorry to keep you a little bit longer tonight, but just wanted to announce that we signed Nate Schmidt to a contract extension. Nate's turned out to be a pretty good defenseman for us. and there's still a lot of room for growth with Nate if he wants to continue to work at it, and I'm sure that he does. He's the kind of defenseman that every team in this league is looking for now. And he's unique in that he's excellent defensively. He's become a shutdown defenseman for us, playing against the other club's top players. And but he also brings a lot of pace to the game, and he brings offense. So we're delighted to get this done. His agent, Matt Cater, engaged early, and we got going, and we got it done. So Nate's in a good place, a good guy in our team, good guy in the locker room, great guy in this community. Trying to make it quick for you.
Go ahead, Jesse.
Jesse Granger with The Athletic. Obviously, you learn about a player a lot while he's playing for you. In this case, have you learned a lot in his absence, kind of what he brings to this team? Have you learned what you're missing with him out?
Well, yeah, certainly he was out for a few games last year, and other people just get more ice time, and you find a way. We'd like to see what this team looks like when everybody gets in, but we know what we have in the player, and what's interesting about the player is the knock on him was that he wasn't a good defender, that he was a guy that brings some speed and move the puck, but he didn't defend very well before we got him. And he turned out to be an excellent defender and a terrific shutdown guy. And when paired with McNabb, they do a terrific job of eating up a lot of minutes and playing against the other team's top guys.
Ken Bolke, Sinbin, Vegas. Did the suspension have any sort of bearing in contract negotiations in this case?
No.
Ron Futrell, 8 News Now. Could you, George, talk about, you've now got a handful of guys, maybe 5 or 6 guys, signed to long-term deals here. I know the answer if I ask you, do you like the way this team is shaping up? Obviously the answer is yes, but can you explain how important that is to get these guys to shape this team the way that you want this team to be shaped long-term now with these guys, the core of this team?
We're getting some very good players under contract, under terms that work for us and work for them. It's important. And I like that we're getting a lot of it done now, and so we can focus on the rest of this season. It makes the summers easier in terms of forecasting and trying to plan what you want to do. It's not an easy thing when you have 6 or 7 or 8 guys that are either unrestricted or restricted free agents, and it's too hard to sort of predict where guys might end up on salaries or whether you're going to get them signed at all or not. So we're happy to get them done, and again, it's important to get them done on our terms. And, I worry to some degree where the salaries are going to go next summer with some of the guys that are up on other teams. And it's important to us to be aggressive, get it done early, and now we focus on this hockey team and getting healthy and getting going.
Chris Chapman, Fox Sports Radio. It wasn't that long ago that you guys and Nate were in arbitration, so could you speak a little bit about how the relationship has grown since that time? And then you've got this core group of guys who you said have bought in. Could you just expand upon the bought-in aspect of it?
Well, it's easy for a player to buy in if you get what you want. So that part hasn't been hard. We've done deals that make sense for them and for us. But they want to be here. And I guess the buying in part is, if you want to stay here, let's get it done and do it now. Because sometimes, if an agent leaves it too late, and it happens, and it has happened last summer, it's hard to get it done. When you don't get a proposal when nothing happens until, 2 hours before the signing deadline, sometimes things don't happen. So the agent, the players, I think, have learned lessons, and if they want to stay here, let's talk about it and get it done. The first part of your question, I don't remember.
How the relationship has grown.
Oh, the relationship with Nate has been great, and with his agent has been great. They filed for arbitration. We didn't file. They filed. And I've sort of made it clear over the years that if you file for arbitration, you're probably going. So I was just being consistent in our approach. And but the relationship is obviously in a really good place. Otherwise, this deal doesn't happen.
Shangpeng Hockey Buzz. You spoke about potential growth areas for Nate. So where do you see those growth areas as, or what can he get better at?
I'm not sure I want to talk about all those things because sometimes it can be construed as he's not good enough in those areas. But, I just think more, when you have an experienced player, they become more consistent in the way they play, more reliable in the things that they do. They just get to know the league better. They get to know all the players better, and therefore they're better. They know what to expect from other teams and other players because now they have 200 or 300 games under their belt, and they just, they become very, very reliable and consistent. And that's what you like in the player. You know what to expect and when to expect it.
Do a couple more, Jesse. Ken will finish with Joe.
You mentioned that the knock on him was that he wasn't great defensively. What did he do last year that kind of surprised you the most on the defensive end? What makes him so good defensively that people kind of didn't think he was before you got him?
I think the coaches and Ryan McGill in particular did a terrific job with him. They showed a lot of faith in him, threw him out there in all the situations, and just let him grow into his game. And he competes harder than he ever has. He likes playing against the top players, knows how to use his mobility effectively. I think Ryan taught him a lot of things about how to play around the net. And like a lot of our players, they wanted that opportunity to play higher in the lineup than they had in other places. And sometimes it's hard to get there because there are some good players ahead of you, and they have to play. And unless there are injuries, you don't get those opportunities. But he had that opportunity last year to play a lot if he played well. And he started playing well and kept playing well and turned himself into a pretty good player.
Ken?
Over the course of the last couple of deals, you've said you still feel like you have quite a bit of cap flexibility. You've added a lot of money on the cap for a long time here. Do you still feel like you have quite a bit of cap flexibility, or is it tightening up a little bit on you?
We have flexibility, and the cap is going to go up every year, and we're going to be fine. We're fine now, and we'll be better in the future as a result of these deals. As I said in one of our last conversations about this, it's the cap space can be a perishable commodity, and you want to utilize it while you have it in a way that makes sense and helps you down the road. We'll be better, as I said, we've got space now, but we'll be even better a few years from now for having done all of the deals that we've done. We've been, as you know, very, very active and had a lot of contracts to do, more than any team in the league, because of where we were after expansion. We had a lot of players that were free agents. We had a lot of players on one-year deals. We had a lot of work to do. I think we did it well. And so we're in good shape moving forward.
George, two-part question. On the Schmidt contract, is there a no-trade clause involved in it?
There's a 10-team no trade.
And then
we don't do no-move clauses and limited no trade. I've never done more than a 10-team no trade.
And the other part of the question is, with the perishable, as you look at the cap space, are you looking forward to possibly, if a player comes available in the free agent market, that you'll have enough to pursue a free agent come June?
Well, that's certainly, you want to be in that kind of position, and we'll be fine in the summer if we want to do something like that. But I think we all know it's not about chasing free agents. It's about doing a lot of different things well, a lot of different resources to acquire players or develop players, and it's a number of things. Sometimes chasing free agents all the time can be a sucker's game, and you don't want to be in that position.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you, George.